Hi everyone, welcome back to the Model 3 Man channel. The good, the bad, and the ugly of full self-driving beta up to 11.4.3. Now, I do have 11.4.4 sitting waiting to be installed, but I wanted to bring you up to speed on the current status of FSD Beta and what it's good at, what it's bad at, and what it's terrible at, the ugly. Believe it or not, there is something in the ugly column. And by the way, Tesla is once again offering the referral code system whereby if you're buying a Tesla and you use somebody's referral code, it'd be nice if you use mine, I get credit points, you get credit points, and you can redeem them for, well, all kinds of things. If you're buying an S or an X, you get $1,000 off the price. If you're buying a 3 or a Y, then you can use the points for things like free supercharging, as well as other products in the store. So if you're about to buy a Tesla, I'd love it if you could use this referral code. If you click the link, it goes straight to the purchase site where you can configure your car. Now, let's begin with the good. And the good obviously includes avoidance. Avoidance of people, avoidance of parked cars, avoidance of objects in the road. So let me give you 3 categories of avoidance where the car is extremely good at this point in time. Number 1, people on the road. Now, you're going to see 2 clips here where as soon as a person steps into the road or appears to be about to step, the car pulls back, waits, and defers to that human being. Wow. Okay, with no cars behind and no cars ahead. It took a really wide path around that woman who was just opening the door of her car. It moved. There we go. That was good. The car inched forward until a pedestrian determinedly set foot into the intersection, and then it immediately stopped. In one case, the people are crossing a pedestrian crossing. It waits until they're out of the lane of the car, and then it starts driving. It doesn't wait until they've cleared the entire pedestrian crossing, and that's good. All kind of things are happening here. So the car navigates its way carefully. It sees the person on the left. Oh, that... Oh my gosh, that was exactly like a human would do it. There's no difference. But there's one example here, and that is a jaywalker, a construction worker, an idiot, who was obscured by cars in front of me and is walking on a red pedestrian light. It's green for us. And he almost got himself killed. And then he has the cheek to shout, "Go on, run me over, would you?" No! You're mad! Wow, that guy simply walked out with the lights green, and the car saw him at the last minute and braked hard, but what a crazy fool. Number 2, avoidance of parked cars. And the great thing about FSD is that when there is a car parked on the side of the road, depending on how much space we have to maneuver in, our car will move right away from it so that we're not in any danger of hitting a parked car. It does it every time in as much space as it has to be able to move and to get away from the parked car. Take a look at these. Ensuring that we didn't get near. Now he slows down. Red Dragon slows down, goes a little wide, doesn't want to go too near that Tesla. My car slows down and moves out. I love that. Number 3, avoidance of cyclists. Now, obviously, cyclists don't always track a very accurate path. Sometimes they wobble from side to side. So take a look at these examples to see how FSD Beta avoids the cyclists and makes sure that my car is not a danger to them. Oh, there are cyclists. So that's fine. I'm indicating to them to go because I know the car is going to wait. So here we go. And there's a bicycle ahead. Now that could cause it either to jump lanes or to slow down. There we go. It's indicating. Look at that. That's good. Yeah, that was good. So slow down for the bike, waited for the first opportunity, indicated left and changed lanes. That was good. Safety of the cyclist was paramount. Then there's the avoidance of cars that are trying to cut in, cars that just cut in front of you, or cars that appear to be about to cut in front of you. And the way that our car, running FSD, actually pulls back, holds back, and does not present a danger to the car who's cutting in. And, look at that. Because that, all right, so that vehicle came in pretty close to the lane, and the Tesla braked because it thought it was trying to actually cut in front of us. Yeah, there's still the odd, I mean, this guy's going to cut in, so the car deferred, no problem. Number 5, intersection behavior. Well, there are quite a few things here that are encompassed, but you know, in the early days, when you came to an intersection, the car would wait until it was completely clear, and then it would enter the intersection. That behavior is gone. Our car enters the intersection as far and as deep as it can before waiting for an opportunity to turn across the path of the oncoming cars. Yeah, it's going to wait because, of course, the oncoming traffic has precedence of way, but it is getting right into the center of the intersection. I love that. Okay, so the car pulls forward a little bit and waits its turn, just as it should do. It waited right till the end. It took off like a bat out of hell. Another intersection behavior is handling amber lights. So the light goes from green to amber to red. It is very, very intelligent about the way that it determines whether to go through on amber or to stop. And it has, of course, to do with the speed the car is going at, the proximity of cars behind that might impact you if you brake too hard, as well as how long the lights have been amber. And in my book, it does a very good job. So, of course, when the car sees the lights change to amber, if it's able to get through easily, it just continues. It doesn't even hint at braking. It doesn't even slow down. It just goes. And only then will the light, oh, the lights are green. Up. That was good. This car ahead of us was in our lane, was right ahead, blocking us. The lights were green, but Red Dragon obviously knew I can't just go. Construction zones. Well, I know that there's a lot said about construction zones and how bad the car is sometimes at handling them. But the car is also getting very good at handling construction zones with cones, traffic cones, where those cones are clearly marked and the road doesn't veer from side to side too much. The following clips will demonstrate how effectively FSD gets through simple and well-marked cone zones. Here we go. Slow down, and I'm following the car in front of me. We have cones and we have road diversions here that can be quite a challenge. So at this point, the car ahead has slowed, which is why my car has slowed. But it's not freaking out, it's handling them well. Okay. Apply a slight force to the wheel or roll one of the control wheels. And now we go right and follow the cones. The person stands there with a slow sign and the car obeys. I don't know whether that was intentional or it just did, but I'm still not sure to what degree it can read these tiny little arrows that you see on there. But nevertheless, we got through an entire mountain highway construction zone with no problems. Okay, we've got some cones ahead. You can see them there, and a utility vehicle flashing its light. That's great. Look at that. Wow. So the car noticed that the cones blocked this lane. It indicated on its own and moved in where it saw a gap, and the truck behind deferred, let us in, and the car then accelerated. Road humps was always an issue. Not any longer. As long as the hump is marked with those white markers, FSD now sees it and slows down, as you can see in these examples. Have a turn at the top. Here's a... Yeah, it slowed down for the bump in the road. It didn't used to always do that. It slowed down perfectly. Number 9, allowing the merging of other cars into our lane. And that is something that has typically been done pretty well and is now really good. So when a car tries to merge, FSD defers and allows that merge to take place, as you can see here. There's a merge happening in a lovely Model Y. Dirty, but it's a Model Y. And Red Dragon is holding back. It's allowing the Model Y just to come in smoothly. Very well handled. That was great. The Model Y could see that I was holding back for him, and he jumped in. Number 10, selecting the correct lane is now done pretty well. From time to time, there are still mistakes, but I have found that the choice of lane ahead of time has improved by a lot. Look at these examples, and you can see instances of good lane selection ahead of time. Coming down to the intersection where we would turn off onto Route 1, Canada Route 1, and it correctly chooses the left lane. So lane selection so far, very good. We have a turn a few blocks ahead, and the car has very judiciously decided to change lanes now. Now, there we go, look at that. Now I like that. That says changing lane to follow route here. And now we're going to be turning left. Will it select the correct lane? Yeah, without a problem. So we're going to be turning left here. Obviously, it needs to select the left turn lane, and it does. It does it smoothly and very quickly as well. Now, lane changes is yet a different topic, also dealing with lanes, but changing when the traffic ahead is too slow and the car wants to take advantage of quicker moving traffic. You can see in these examples, it does exactly that, and it does it efficiently and quickly. That's fine. And look at that. Very quickly moved across to the right-hand lane. I like the way that it aggressively moved left and passed the slower car on our right. Okay, here we have to make a decision. And it does. Look at that. Oh, I like that. That's very good. Here we go, moving quickly into the faster lane. I really have to say that when you have it on assertive mode, the lane changes are quick, intuitive, and also very safe. I've never noticed a change in lane where there was actually a car that threatened us. Now, the car used to be very slow to pick up speed when the light turned green or when you were following other cars. And I always said, why can't it move virtually immediately? And it now does. And that's a big improvement. Hopefully this time the green will mean all clear. And it is. Here we go. And that's great because it doesn't wait a moment before picking up speed and going right through. Where the car stopped, either at lights or a stop sign or because cars ahead have stopped, it's very quick to begin moving. So it used to be that it was a much longer delay and then the car would move. But now it's very quick off the mark, and I really enjoy that because that's how humans are. The minute the car begins moving in front of you, you start moving. Number 13, I really appreciate how smooth the car is when it comes down to a stop or when it takes off from a full stop and begins driving again. The cars perform beautifully. Again, coming to a red light, smoothly slowing down, just like a person. You really cannot think of a compliment higher than saying it's driving just like a good human driver. Well, now on to the bad. And you say, well, how bad are the bad items? In some cases, they're not good. For example, a perennial gripe of mine is when the car merges from an on-ramp into the freeway. And there are two things that a human does. Number one, glances back to see if there's a gap. And then what do? First, accelerate. And secondly, move into the lane as quickly as they can and not wait until the very last minute. But unfortunately, FSD Beta is still waiting until the end of the merge area. Now, merging, remember, it's always been a problem in that it goes right to the end of the lane before it turns in. So let's have a look here. Oh, once again, no change. No change at all. That is not good. No human ever merges in that fashion. Number 2, missing a turnoff. That doesn't sound like it's possible to do, but it is. I don't know whether it's a case of the GPS in the mapping being slightly out of alignment with the actual turnoff that takes place. But as you can see in this example, it was quite happy to ignore the turnoff, although it was indicating, and look for some imaginary road that was just a little further. Watch what happens here. It's a very tricky turnoff. A Red Dragon has missed it in the past a couple of times. And it's indicating for the turnoff ahead, which is right here. Oh, it missed it. Yeah, I said that we have missed this in the past, and it doesn't look like that's being fixed. Number 3, sometimes the indicators don't come on, when a human would definitely put them on. If I'm in a road that goes straight ahead or glides off to the right, I indicate long before. Not always in FSD Beta. There we go. Well, the surprise is that it didn't indicate. I guess because we were in the lane that turns. Now it's indicating. Number 4, and this is a really annoying one, sometimes, and it's not frequent, but sometimes, the car slows down for no apparent reason at all. It just slows down and keeps slowing down. You'll see it in this example. Now, why is it slowing down? Okay, I didn't disengage. All I had to do was put my foot on the accelerator to tell the car to speed up. I really have no idea why the car slowed down. And number 5, sometimes in construction zones where cones demarcate a newly altered path, I have to disengage. For example, you'll see in this example, it went down from 3 lanes to 1 lane, and the FSD Beta was not making progress in indicating and moving into it. So when I had to move across 2 lanes of traffic, I did disengage and I took over myself. But now we have the same thing here. We cannot go ahead. Okay, I'm going to disengage here because this gets into 1 lane and I would be embarrassing people behind. So that's one disengagement, and it happened because of construction occupying 3 lanes. And this guy's letting me in. That's ridiculous. Now, I've no doubt that finally it would have got it, but it would have been embarrassing and humiliating for me, because sometimes when a car slows down, Red Dragon does not actually detect it quickly and doesn't take advantage, and then the car gets mad and closes the gap. And finally, number 3, the ugly. Now, these are things that really should not be happening, and they're very scary when they do. Here's an example. You can see that the map shows I have to go straight. And I started to go straight when the lights turned green, and then suddenly the car veered to the left. In other words, about to cross oncoming traffic. That was very scary, very unexpected, and I still have no understanding of why that actually happened. We have to wait, and there we go. It's changed. Car moves forward almost immediately. No, where are you going? That was not good. The car tried to turn left at that intersection when it was clearly mapping to go straight through. And number 2, this morning, and I don't have a video for this one, but I was traveling up Mountain Highway, going through a badly marked construction zone, and the cones had the car changing direction a few times. And I got near to the end of the zone that had cones. And as it went through, for some reason, inexplicably, it veered toward the left, directly into the oncoming traffic. And I saw the guy's eyes widen like that, and I grabbed the wheel and just pulled it right. Folks, that's the reason that if you're using FSD Beta, you keep your hands by the wheel and you get ready. I have to say this. Those weird and scary behaviors are almost exclusively limited to construction zones and the randomness of how the construction workers mark the change in direction that cars have to go to get through the work that they're doing. So, yeah, does that remain the weakest point of FSD? I believe it is. I believe everything else is very far advanced and is almost at that point where you can trust it to drive without any intervention at all. Now, I have 11.4.4. I'm installing it this afternoon, and tomorrow I'll take a drive on a carefully plotted route that tests it for everything. Traffic circles, traffic lights, dual lane carriageways, freeway, back roads, hills. We'll put it through its paces and see whether 11.4.4 is the magic number. So once again, thank you very much for watching. If you're going to be buying a car, again, I remind you about the referral code, and I'd love to have you join us again for the review of 11.4.4, which should go up in a day or two from now. Thanks for watching, thank you for support, and I will see you again in the next episode.